Hi everybody, it's Miss Amy from the Grass Valley Library. Welcome to this episode of Random Acts of Science. We are going to be bringing you weekly science experiments in conjunction with Nevada County Media that you can do at home with materials that you have on hand. So this week's experiment is called penny drops, and we're going to be seeing how many drops of water we can fit on top of one penny. It's super simple, it won't take very long, but there are some interesting properties that we get to learn about today. So the couple of things that you're going to need at home are some water, a penny, a plate or some other bowl or flat surface. It has to be very flat. That's going to catch the water because eventually it's going to run off the sides of the penny. And either a pipette or some sort of an eyedropper or something else that'll fill that same function. So once you have all those things together, you're ready to go. So let's get started. So the first thing that you're going to do is take your plate or your bowl and make sure it is on a very level surface. This isn't going to work very well if you're doing it on the lawn and it's not quite flat. So a table or the floor or some surface like that would be great. You're going to take a penny and put it in the middle of that plate if you can. And then we're going to fill this penny or this water dropper up with water, and we're going to drop the drops on top of the penny. So there's a couple things that we're going to be watching while we're doing this. Water has two really interesting properties that are called cohesion, which is that the water molecules bind to themselves, and surface tension, which is the property that water has where it's so sticky to itself that it kind of defies gravity for a while. And that's the part that we're going to be looking for when we do this experiment. So I'm going to go ahead and do it, and then we're going to talk a little bit more about what's happening. So I'm going to fill up this pipette by squeezing in the end of it and then letting it go. It's going to suck a bunch of water up into it, and we're going to get started. So you can count along with me as I go, and we'll see how many drops we can fit on here. So here we go. There's 1, maybe 2, and you can already see how they're sticking together instead of being separate drops. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So you can see how it's totally covered that penny at this point. So now this is just all gravy after this. There's 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. And there you can see the surface tension holding it together. 21, 22, 23. And there it went. So what just happened? Well, here's how water works. Water molecules are made up of oxygen and hydrogen. Water is sometimes called H2O, which means there's 2 hydrogen atoms, which are these two. It kind of looks like a panda bear, and 1 oxygen atom, which is this big one. So the oxygen atom has a positive charge to it, which just means it's kind of like a magnet. It's attracting other things with this positive charge, and the hydrogen atoms have a negative charge. So if you've ever held a magnet in your hand and you're trying to put 2 magnets together, if they have the same charge, like if you put a positive to a positive, it's really hard to get them to stick together, right? They just at the last minute kind of veer off and they just repel each other. But if you flip it around so that a positive and a negative are coming at each other, they'll snap together just like a puzzle piece, like they're meant to be. So that's what happens with these water molecules, is the oxygen has the positive, the hydrogen atoms have the negative charge, and they snap together just like that. And it's a really strong bond. And not only that, but they're also attracted to other water molecules. So they string themselves together in this big gooey liquid mass that we call water, and that's the cohesion part of it. So the surface tension part of it is that the surface of that water tends to stick together. Even though you would think gravity would pull it apart, the tension and the cohesion between all those molecules is actually stronger than gravity. So this is why if you're looking at a flat lake, and sometimes you can see those little water bugs kind of skate across the surface of that, they're sitting on top of that surface tension. If you drop a rock through it, the gravity that's pulling that rock down is going to be stronger than the surface tension. It's just going to go all the way through to the bottom. So surface tension is a pretty cool thing. So we got to see that surface tension kind of build and build and build, and then all of a sudden it was too much and the gravity grabbed it and off it went. So a pretty fun experiment and easy to do at home. Let's see how many drops that you guys can get. So have fun doing it. Thank you so much for joining me this morning for this episode of Random Acts of Science.